Hi and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this video I'm going to be looking into the question, how does your crush view you, and do they plan on making a move towards you? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Citrine. Group 2 is the Rose Quartz. And group 3 is the Black Tourmaline. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to, I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Citrine. So let's start by taking a look at how does your crush view you, and then I will get into the question if they plan on making a move towards you. Okay, so we have God of the Nile, enrichment. My joyful dedication and perseverance are paying off. Goddess of the Nile, opulence. I welcome the constant flow of sustenance. The badger and ginkgo, healing wounds. The fox and ivy, adaptability. Owl, wise seeing, wise action. And ancestors, the love and legacy of our DNA. So there's definitely a sense here that your crush may view you as a soulmate, counterpart, twin flame sort of energy. What they know of you, what they have learned of you, what they see of you, it seems to align with a lot of qualities within themselves that they may have really struggled to find, kind of that perfect piece, that component that helps them to love themselves and embrace themselves more just as they are. They also, with these energies, see you as someone very balanced in your own masculine and feminine polarities within self. So in conjunction with the owl card, it can speak about highly intuitive, very psychic, very sensitive. It feels like not just to energies around you and energies internally within yourself, but it feels like also the energies of other people. So in this kind of crush situation, this may be somebody that you're dealing with directly or that has some kind of regular or semi-regular access to you, in the sense that you may have said a kind word, some kind of gesture that really hit home for them in a profound way. Kind of when they were having a bad day, suddenly there you were with a smile and a friendly word, and it might have been something that really, was kind of that moodiness or a sense of being really down could have been overlooked by other people, and yet they sense that you just very intuitively kind of know the right thing to say, or conversely kind of giving them space at different points in time, versus kind of taking things personally if there is that sort of moodiness or kind of downtrodden energy. So again, kind of a situation where you may have some direct interpersonal kind of connection. It can be a work connection, a friendship, somebody kind of in a community setting, or just someone you interact with on like a semi-regular basis. that at least on more than one occasion has felt very seen and very understood by you. This can even be somebody that kind of observes you from afar, and almost kind of with the idea of intuition with the owl spirit, or, you know, owl spirit energy right here. That's kind of talking about things that you might have said, not even knowing that it kind of would have hit home for them or was sort of what they needed to hear, the type of wisdom and guidance that they almost would have hoped that a close friend or a family member would have given them, somebody who might have had more direct access and yet it was coming from you, maybe a stranger, virtual stranger, somebody they don't know very well. So in that sense, there's almost like an energetic bond that they feel with you very profoundly. With the idea of ancestors and kind of the legacy of the DNA, this is that kindred spirit energy, really maybe sensing a past life connection with you, kind of the familiar stranger. If this is somebody that you have encountered directly face to face, there may have been instances of deja vu, or like finishing one another's sentences, you know, things that kind of to the casual observer would have just been dismissed as coincidence, or not even kind of focused on, not paid attention to. But for your crush, it's registered for them in terms of maybe a spiritual connection that they have been seeking, unable to find with other people, and yet here they are in a circumstance with you, or feeling this kind of bondedness to you in a way that sort of transcends the ordinary, which it feels like is very important for this person. Whoever your crush is, it feels that you know, they might be sitting very strongly in their own kind of divine masculine, divine feminine energy, a highly spiritual person, a highly intuitive psychic person, and so encountering you, interacting with you, seeing you, you know, kind of just being in whatever way sort of a part of your world, a part of your reality, it feels that it provides a lot of sort of reassurance for them to continue embodying the wholeness of who they are, or to start to move more in that direction. Almost the sense of kind of looking to you in a leadership sort of way. You know, the authenticity, the way that you kind of hold yourself, you carry yourself in a very balanced capacity. This is something that your crush finds very intriguing, very attractive, very reassuring for them. And the idea here with the badger spirit and kind of healing the wounds, this is definitely also tying into kind of this idea of a balanced masculine and feminine polarity within you. They either know very directly that you've done some intense shadow work, you may have gone through significant life changes, life transitions, transformation, or it's just something they're able to kind of glean and pick up energetically from you. And in a way, it almost kind of gives them confidence to continue along a similar path that they may have embarked upon, or there could be certain aspects, qualities, things you've discussed openly, or maybe just that they're able to kind of intuit from you energetically speaking, that it's very much like a parallel path kind of energy. So with this is kind of the idea of like an eagerness to step forth to you, to get to know you more, or to you know, introduce themselves for the first time, or kind of create more significance for themselves within your life, because there's a sense of you know, fate and destiny almost having brought the two of you together, or bringing you into their awareness. The idea here with fox and ivy and adaptability again speaks of the energies of change, but then also being highly loyal to yourself. Your crush sees you as somebody who you're very aligned with certain core values within, and a sense of almost not following the crowd, but really marching to the beat of your own drum, and displaying a lot of personal integrity that might be kind of a rare quality in terms of people that they ordinarily deal with or are surrounded with, or even romantically speaking, kind of partners that they've had in the past. In a way, it's almost, you know yourself, you accept yourself, you love yourself to such a degree that it's almost the true authority is that kind of guidance that comes within. Rather than seeking validation from the outside world, your crush sees you or perceives you as very sort of in tune with that internal reality. Your inner compass points you in a direction which works for you. And it's something that they see kind of leads to a sense of opportunity for your light to shine even brighter than other people that they may have known. Or if this is someone that's kind of known you for a while, they've observed you for a while, they may have watched you in these kind of transitional periods, and it's a sense of the deeper you go within yourself to kind of heal and embrace the wholeness of who you are, the more kind of abundance opens up for you, or the more certain you are kind of yourself, and it reflects in a very inspirational, very magnetic way. This may be somebody who has kind of witnessed you sort of bringing a dream into fruition, or that you're very kind of dedicated to something, a spiritual path, or kind of embodying that better version of self, which again might be a very rare quality compared to other people that they're used to dealing with, or that they're around. And regardless of if they kind of have other people that are spiritually based that they interact with or deal with, there's something as far as you are concerned, where you're not just following a trend, you're not just kind of doing things for show. You're very much aligned with a core, almost like otherworldly quality within, something that goes far beyond kind of the average person on like a spiritual path, or walking a spiritual journey. There may be something very unique as well in terms of your particular brand of spirituality. If you don't talk about that, it might even just be something that it exudes in your energy. It shines forth, that there's something out of the ordinary about you, and yet it's very intriguing, and it's very deeply aligned with aspects within sort of your crush that they may have struggled to kind of find a place for, find similar community. It may be things that kind of they just keep to themselves, and yet with you there's almost the sense of this would be a safe harbor, this would be a safe person to kind of explore these things with, or in some way, even if our roads have been very different, we've both kind of come to this same sort of home to ourselves within, and they're kind of resonating very deeply in that capacity with you, and with that is almost the sense of it's no accident that we've encountered one another, or I've encountered you, I've kind of seen you, I've honed in on you in a certain capacity. So this is definitely somebody, crush situation, who feels very intensely for you. It goes far beyond just sort of physical attraction and kind of an emotional energy. There's definitely a very strong spiritual component here, and it's reflective of like an alignment within you, and how that sort of radiates out into what you do, into who you are, into how you're living your life, or even just the energetic impact that you have, like on the world around you, people around you, or even on your crush themselves. They find that very attractive. So let's see if they plan on making a move towards you. Okay, so we have establish priorities, protect your boundaries, and decide for yourself. So this is kind of giving off the energy that either they are still in the process of going through a metamorphosis, or something that has to do with kind of like the spiritual component of these energies, where they're almost following their own intuition and guidance, that maybe they are not ready to fully embark on like a spiritually based romantic relationship yet. There's a sense of not wanting to let this opportunity pass them by, but really trusting in the process of continuing to sort of walk their path, continuing to, sort of observe you, standing in the fullness of who you are, trusting in kind of like a greater indicators, signs, something having to do with destiny that will kind of let them know, or kind of energetically signal when is the right time to sort of present themselves, when's the right time to make that move forward, not just for themselves, but it feels like also on some level for you. So this can be something where maybe if this is a crush situation where they kind of have direct access to you, they may be privy to certain information about kind of what's going on in your life, and there's a sense of you're in the midst of something, you're trying to build something, grow something, develop something, work through certain things, maybe harness more of that sense of autonomy, or have more time in sort of that place of balance within the masculine and feminine polarities within. They sort of see you as very much directed toward a horizon that they may not fully understand the nature of what that is, what you're working on, what you're called towards. Some of you may be very focused on like life purpose, career, building abundance for yourself, something where you're giving off a vibe of being very goal oriented, yet approachable. But there's a sense here of almost them understanding that kind of the stars are still in the process of aligning before it's the right time for you and for them to kind of take things to the next level. So this is the sense of somebody who will continue to kind of watch, they'll continue to, you know, involve themselves in your life in whatever capacity that they are. It feels like they'll start to sort of flow more towards you, start to kind of build a little more intimacy, or start to kind of make their presence more pronounced, more apparent to you. If it's somebody that you have like direct contact with currently, there may be almost the essence of like spending more time with you, being more engaged and enthusiastic, more present in your life. But in terms of expressing kind of those romantic feelings or crossing that threshold, this almost feels to be something that they're feeling that like you have all the time in the world, both of you do. And because there is this deep sense of almost spiritual alignment, they're trusting in kind of that greater path or greater forces behind the scenes that are at play, that, you know, if they continue to just sort of remain open, remain very present to themselves and their own journey, and kind of allow that for you as well, that the time will come when there will be that opportunity to sort of explore romance. So this is somebody who it feels like will continue to kind of, again, sort of hold the position that they're in, try to create sort of more of a presence in your reality, if that's applicable, depending on kind of like how they are positioned in your reality. But this isn't someone who's going to rush forth towards you at this time, but it's also not somebody who's just going to sit on the bench, or kind of watch from the shadows and do nothing. So let's get a few messages from their higher self and see what they want you to know. So we have let's talk. So that's that confirmation if this is somebody who's in some way in your life right now, like a friend, a coworker, someone in a community, you know, somebody that you're dealing with in some capacity directly. There may be more conversations that take place, deeper conversations, longer conversations, or even someone who approaches you. It feels like it may start to kind of plant the seeds of like a friendship that develops, but again, it feels like something where they're not quite ready to express romantic interest outwardly, verbalize that, vocalize that, but it also is kind of the essence of not just wanting to sort of keep things fully at the status quo and kind of keep uncertainty or silence between the two of you, but it may even be kind of where they're in the process of kind of preparing themselves. What am I going to say? How am I going to approach this person? How am I going to open up, you know, about kind of a deeper interest or attraction towards them? But it feels like handling that in sort of a delicate way that is respective of their own, wherever they're at in their life right now. As it pertains, it feels again to like some sort of spiritual path, some sort of metamorphosis that they're going through, and then also kind of respecting a process that you are involved in, whether they directly have knowledge of that or are just able to kind of energetically sense that. And they also say, yes, your feelings are correct. So it's very likely that you know who this person is. You sense chemistry between you and an individual. You have a suspicion of who this is. And this can be that confirmation that although these feelings have not been vocalized yet, a very palpable sort of draw toward one another, or maybe even signs and synchronicities you're seeing related to a particular person, that is very much mutual. It's very much reciprocal. It's you know, experienced on both sides, and with that is almost the sense of trusting in kind of the process of when they get those signals and indicators to do something more about this situation. And they also say, please forgive. So this can, you know, indicate apologies about any sort of delays as far as opening their heart, you know, giving this an opportunity to explore romance between the two of you. There's a sense of them wanting you to know that they're not sort of holding back or not making those feelings known due to fear on their part. It's almost they're liking where they're at in their own sort of personal growth and transformation process. They're trying to respect you during your kind of personal growth and transformation process. And it's a sense of the time is just not quite right for something more to happen. But it's not a situation of nothing will ever happen. It's almost apologies for where they are at in their process, and kind of feeling a little bit kind of frustrated at where you're at in your process as well. And they also say, can you feel me with you? So again, strong spiritual energy, energetic connection here. Telepathy, that might be something with the idea of like, let's talk. They could start with that. You might start to experience that or more of that with this individual if you have a particular person in mind as kind of like a first step, or introducing more of their energy, or becoming more kind of dominantly aware in sort of your reality as kind of a prelude to, it feels like someone who is definitely determined, definitely set on, verbalizing that, not just sort of sitting and thinking about it and allowing the telepathy to happen between the two of you, and then nothing sort of materializes in the 3D sense, but it's kind of like, this is what I can give at this point in time, and I'm hoping that we can kind of start and sort of build something from the top down. And they also say, I wish you were here. So this can again indicate that they are not happy just kind of being on the outskirts of your life, sitting on the sidelines, or however the connection between you is defined at this particular point in time. This is somebody who wants more. They wish that they were further along in their path, or you were further along in your path, or that they could kind of just snap their fingers and fast forward to the point where those signs and indicators, or the green light is given from the universe, that kind of like, now is the time to profess some kind of feelings, or to open up in that capacity to see if you can explore that. And they also say, fear held me back. So in the past, it feels like they were very intimidated by you. This could have been something that even sort of sparked or instigated some sort of an awakening path for themselves. A sense of when they first saw you, first encountered you, it's almost like they were awestruck, sort of sitting there and just observing you, just taking you all in. And so it may have been a process to kind of build that courage to the point of seeing all this deep kind of alignment between the two of you, or sensing that energetically, and really kind of preparing themselves to announce their intentions, or to kind of cross that threshold between wherever you're at right now, even if this is somebody that you don't know, that's kind of just a stranger watching. It feels like they're preparing themselves to kind of step forth into your reality sooner rather than later. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got L, V, K, D, S, W, C, E, J, P, L, X, G, U, C, G, U, I, and Q. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. And I've launched a second channel here on YouTube, which is called Lady of the Dawn, and over there I do channeled message readings related to topics other than love and romance. So if that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that out, and there's a link to that channel in the description box of the video. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. Chose the Rose Quartz. So let's start by taking a look at how does your crush view you, and then I will get into the question, do they plan on making a move towards you? Okay, we have Saraswati Temple, knowledge. I open my heart and mind. Sacred Spring, vitality. I dance towards the light. The Porcupine and the Anemone, boundaries. The Eel and Iris, safety. Werewolf, exploring wildness. And the Witch, the earthly weaver of the worlds. So your crush sees you as somebody who has cast a spell on their heart. Something about you is a very luscious energy. They are very attracted to you physically and emotionally. This is almost somebody who has reoccurrent or perhaps even obsessive thoughts about you. A lot of daydreaming with this energy and a sense of being pulled towards you, almost like a magnetic quality about you that draws them into your orbit. There's a sense of a desire to be very vulnerable with you. Perhaps even this is somebody who has been single for a while, who has kind of taken a break from love and romance, working on themselves or even healing and recovering from past disappointments in love. And there's a sense of you have broken them out of some kind of cage or cocoon that they have been in order to heal, kind of to self-preserve maybe their dignity, what kind of shards of their heart had not been kind of torn asunder or sullied by their last experiences in love and partnership. And there's a sense of you give them hope, you've revived them in a way, you are motivating them to start to break free from the energies that they have been in order to kind of take a chance, take a risk on love again. This can definitely be a situation of like love at first sight or something where as soon as they caught sight of you, everything kind of changed. It shifted their direction, their focus. This definitely could be somebody who, obviously these energies are not speaking to someone who is out looking for love, but it's almost like they've encountered you or they have found kind of the spark of romance within them in a very unlikely place. So this definitely kind of gives the vibration of secret admirer energy in addition to kind of a crush situation. So it may be somebody that like you might recognize them or be familiar with them, or they're kind of in your world in some capacity, but it doesn't feel like there's any kind of direct interaction between the two of you at this point in time, other than you may catch them staring at you a lot. This may be somebody that if you've taken note of them, you could almost sense like a change in their physical appearance or their energy if you were paying enough attention to it, where it's almost like there's a vitality now that sort of coincides with the intersection of the experience of you, discovering you, crossing paths with you. This feels to be somebody who's kind of circling you at this moment and drawing closer kind of to that brink of expressing themselves, feeling very much, again, kind of pulled in to your energy, to your presence. There's a sense here of understanding on some level that may kind of defy logic and defy explanation, and yet they're very trusting about it, that you would be a person that their heart is safe with, or qualities and aspects that they're able to sort of decipher, at least on the surface level, about you. There's almost like a quirkiness or something very unique about you, something very reassuring about you, something that really feels like home, that is encouraging them to, perhaps sort of lead with an authenticity. This could be somebody who's really used to kind of wearing masks or posturing or sort of having to put on a show to impress other people, or even kind of qualities about who they are, maybe like a deeply romantic or emotional person, and in previous love connections that has been mocked, rejected, overlooked, or taken advantage of, and it feels like somebody who has hardened their heart in a certain capacity quite a while ago, and you bring forth the sense of you would be a safe person perhaps for them to kind of express that softer side or that highly romantic side of themselves that other people hadn't been able to truly appreciate before. Like they'd given their heart to the wrong people and had become almost very sort of very selfish or kind of greedy with sort of keeping what remained intact and to themselves. But with you, there's a sense of almost feeling like it's safe to love again, or you know, what kind of precious parts of them that they've kind of kept under lock and key. There's a sense almost kind of like I've been waiting to encounter someone like you, you know, energetically, or at least what they're able to kind of pick up and perceive. It's this urge to kind of give you the best of them, give you access to kind of this inner domain of who they are, you know, to kind of make changes if necessary, or these changes might even just be starting to happen very organically as they're kind of being drawn towards you, as they are kind of under your spell, but in a way that they really enjoy this. It's kind of bringing the best out of them, or a part out of them that, again, it's like the energy of a revival in a way. You really quench them, you nourish them, you know, seeing you, hearing your voice, being kind of in your presence or in your proximity. It's something that they feel lighter, they feel more energized. It may even be something that people in their world and in their reality kind of notice that there's a little bit of pep in their step, their mood is brighter, their energy is better. This is almost somebody that kind of walks with that giddiness of kind of like a young love, or kind of like a childhood crush sort of situation. And so it might even be where there's been some positive feedback from other people that are close to them, as far as like, you know, something has changed, something has evolved, a gloominess, a moodiness has kind of lifted, and this person has light in their eyes again. All of that can be attributed to kind of the way that you have really captivated them. There's also an energy here that you are a muse for this person in some kind of way, something again that is inspiring them to kind of take down some walls and barriers that they may have put up during a process of self-healing, or components of them that hadn't had kind of like a proper reception in romances of the past, that they've kept hidden. They've become very hesitant over time to kind of express these to other people, and now there's almost the sense of them feeling they can kind of explore these components of who they are and come up with sort of creative ways to bring that forth to you. So it feels like this is definitely somebody who's kind of, they're gearing up, they're getting ready to sort of make some kind of move towards you, it feels like, or very much just enjoying kind of taking you in, savoring the experience of you, allowing themselves to kind of drift off into fantasy, to be really just submerged in the experience of you. This is someone who feels very quenched emotionally and at a soul level, by even just experiencing your energy from afar. They may even kind of look at you as almost like an earth angel, you know, heaven sent, that you've crossed their path at this particular moment in time and have kind of awakened them from some sort of slumber. You've brought them back to life in a very profound way, to where, you know, there's no more need for them to sort of hide away who they are, or kind of hide away from the world. There's a sense of, again, kind of enthusiasm, vitality, and all of that they're kind of attributing to the experience of you, that you've rocked their world in the best way possible. You definitely could have sparked some sort of heart chakra activation within this person, some sort of like kundalini awakening, spiritual awakening, but it feels like something that it's almost, you're a light that has found them in a personal darkness almost. This is not someone who's plunged into a dark night of the soul. It feels like they almost have been walking around, almost sleepwalking through their life, and then they've come across you, and it's like stars in their eyes. It's like a guiding light. Suddenly there's hope, there's motivation, there's incentive for them to kind of pick themselves back up and kind of bring forth a better part of them, or something that really, it almost feels like your energy, or even just seeing you, kind of the experience of you in whatever way that's happening at this point in time, it's encouraging them to continue along their process of wherever they are in terms of healing from past heartbreak, or even just kind of releasing that healing journey altogether. This may be somebody who was stuck in a cycle of healing, or almost kind of felt, I need to just stay single and work on myself. I need to not get involved with other people, romantically speaking, until I kind of fix me. And they may have really gotten lost in that, kind of lost in that never-ending cycle of self-improvement, and yet you've crossed their path, and it's almost, it's a sense of kind of like feeling that they are good enough, or that they've done the work, they like what they see. It may have even been where they'd kind of come to sort of that crossroads moment for themselves, and right at that moment, right at that hour almost, when they said enough is enough, I've healed enough, I love myself, I accept myself as I am, there you were. So there's definitely a sense of they have focused on you and are very drawn to you, very attracted to you. Energetically speaking, emotionally, you stir up a lot of emotions within them. And then there's also a very kind of rich and tangible sort of physical attraction. They find you very physically pleasing to them. So let's see if they plan on making a move towards you. So we have embrace friendship, create, and hold the connection. So this is definitely somebody, it feels like, that is very intent on making a move, moving out of kind of like a crush sort of energy, and professing, starting at square one, or even kind of, if this is currently a friendship situation, it feels like this is somebody who's very intent on building that into something more. This is something that, depending on kind of the nature of how you are kind of in relation to one another at this particular point in time, you know, it might be where, if it's just somebody you see from afar, you're kind of aware of them, there's that attraction kind of mutually on both sides. It's needing to start at square one and kind of build from there. But there's definitely a sense of not just wanting to remain kind of in that admirer pose or position that they are in, but to really, you know, work toward almost a very grounded and kind of practical approach to the situation, because there's so much emotional energy and so much almost like tangible sexual kind of attraction towards you. There's an understanding, though, that to lead in that capacity, which might have been a problem in previous relationships for them, that could have been why they're sort of closed off and sort of in the process of healing and kind of contained within themselves, that there's a sense of, I'm not going to make that mistake this time around. Yes, there are these deep emotions. Yes, I feel very compelled toward this person, very drawn toward this person, you know, very much kind of captivated by them, but at the same point in time wanting to kind of build something from the ground up that becomes lasting, that has kind of the potential for longevity. So it feels like something that making that move is either spending more time with you, is kind of getting to know you. You know, this can also, with the idea of create, there may be some kind of like shared community. This could be like a work connection, for example, and it's a sense of almost trying to get to know you better outside of the office, or spending more time kind of, you know, in that sort of working environment, but not just sort of playing it off like friendship. It almost feels that they're kind of coming up with a plan, sort of like a timetable, you know, a seasonal almost energy of sort of like a period of several months where, you know, they're kind of just keeping things at a very sort of PG level between the two of you, and then there's a sense of like, okay, now I want to start to build into something more. Now we've gotten to know one another, and let's kind of explore more of those kind of emotional or sexual aspects of this situation. So this is definitely somebody who, you know, is pulled in towards you and is really enjoying that, is really liking that. And it feels like, you know, they will at the appropriate kind of moment sort of make that move, be very assertive in that capacity. This is not someone that's just going to leave you guessing about how they feel, but they're very fixated on you in the sense of wanting to kind of build and grow and develop something more between you. So let's get some, or before I get initials, let's get some message cards and see what they want you to know from their higher self right now. Okay, and they say, I know we are soulmates. Yeah, so this is definitely somebody who wants to bear their soul to you, wants to, you know, kind of create more closeness, more intimacy between the two of you. They may even consider this to be like a soulmate connection, twin flame connection, something that is very much heaven sent. You've come into their life at just the right moment. So if you're kind of exploring those same, you know, kind of concepts or possibilities about this this crush situation, it's definitely reciprocal on their part. And they also say, I wish you were here. So this is talking about a desire for more closeness, you know, planning that move towards you, wanting to build and develop and kind of get to know you better beyond sort of whatever your dynamic is with one another. They also say, we've been meeting in dreams. So you represent almost like a dream person, a dream come true. You check off a lot of boxes for them in a way that, again, it feels like, emotionally speaking, or just this sort of draw towards you. It may really exceed what they felt in a while, what they've allowed themselves to feel in a while, which kind of ties into that element of, because of that intensity, that kind of pull towards you, that chemistry, there is really a focus on needing to ground it down into something stable, into something solid, into something practical. So they may really kind of hold themselves back in terms of sort of the full declaration of their attraction towards you, but it's almost a sense of, you know, consistently kind of showing up, you know, building over time to this point of, you know, then we're talking about kind of emotions, then we're getting into, you know, sort of the physical attraction, the sexual component of things. And they also say, let's talk. So definitely planning on making conversation with you, or shifting the nature of your conversations, your interactions with one another, to something more personal, you know, kind of asking questions about sort of your personal life, getting to know you a little bit better. Again, this is kind of given the vibe of a crush situation where maybe you find them attractive, but there may have been very little direct interaction between the two of you, but they're very sort of fixated on you as well, perhaps even more so than you are upon them. And it's a sense of them being very certain that they want to start to create something more realistic, more practical, more regular between the two of you. They also say our love is protected. So this can speak again about sort of this deep desire to experience something more with you, but being very mindful of kind of their own romantic past, or like a healing journey that they have been on, to not rush forth into anything and kind of repeat mistakes of their past, or even kind of a sense of mindfulness, because this might be sort of the first time approaching love and romance after a significant period even of being single, to where it's like they don't want to move too quickly, and kind of get triggered and sort of sabotage an opportunity between the two of you. So if this crush person sort of does make that move, it feels that it's gonna start off small, but there's gonna be a consistency and definitely long range plans with them, as far as not just wanting to kind of get trapped in the friend zone or stagnate in any sort of way, but just to build very gradually in that direction of openly exploring romantic feelings. And they also say, I want you to be happy. So your happiness is just as important as their happiness. If they are being mindful of kind of their own emotional wounds at this point, difficulties that they faced in love and partnership in the past, you know, without having direct information or knowledge about sort of what you've been through, it's almost like they can rightly assume that you've had your ups and downs as far as love and partnership is concerned. So they're really kind of putting themselves in your shoes, being very cognizant of sort of the boundaries within themselves or the fears within themselves, maybe fears of getting hurt in love again. And it's just kind of a presumption at this point in time that you might have some hesitations as well. And so therefore it feels to be, again, like a very measured approach that this person will take. But this is definitely a very action-oriented sort of energy right here. They're being pulled towards you and are, you know, kind of transcending any sort of fear and hesitation about the idea of opening up. So let's get these initials and see first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got P, M, J, W, O, L, D, R, Q, S, W, H, T, K, Z, G, M, N, C, Y, V, and V. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. And I've launched a second channel here on YouTube, which is called Lady of the Dawn, where I do channeled message readings related to topics other than love and romance. So if that sounds like something you're interested in checking out, there's a link to that channel in the description box of the video also. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. You chose the black tourmaline. So let's start by taking a look at how does your crush view you, and then we will see if they plan on making a move towards you. Okay, we have Mother of the Ocean, Inner Child Healing. I go within to feel whole. Sacred Spring, Vitality. I dance towards the light. The Hare and Oak, New Opportunities. The Ladybug and Sweet Pea, Happiness. Lady de los Muertos, Acceptance and Equality. And Skull of Flowers, Creating Through the Ashes. So your crush sees you as somebody who has the power to change their life very profoundly, either to represent a paradigm shift in terms of an experience of love and partnership. You may be very different from their usual type or expectation, or who they have experienced love and romance with before, and there is both a level of trepidation and a deep sense of curiosity, an energy that if they let this opportunity pass them by, it will be among their biggest regrets in life to not take a chance on this situation with you. There's a sense of you radiating to this person almost the energy of home, a lot of abundance. They see you as very a bright energy, maybe even a light worker. That could have to do with kind of what you do, what your focus is. Maybe you do work in kind of the spiritual community, or giving back to other people. There's a sense of them almost seeing you as a very compassionate person, somebody that is very trustworthy, very empathic. You radiate almost this aura of healing. And with that is almost the idea that they're drawn to you like a moth to a flame. You've got their attention. They're very kind of curious about you, and a sense of almost everything you touch turns to gold, or that you're riding some sort of wave of abundance. You're very focused on kind of an upward trajectory to your own personal narrative arc, which may be something that also both encourages them to sort of move in closer towards you, or to kind of openly explore the idea of kind of a mutual crush between the two of you, or something that it feels very life-changing. Like there's just something within them that kind of signals. Maybe this is even an indicator that to experience love and partnership with you could trigger or instigate some sort of spiritual awakening. That may have already even begun to happen for this person, and so there's a sense of wanting to lean in closer, but not really being sure kind of what the road ahead would have to offer. There's an element of mystery with all of this, and yet a sense of not recoiling from that, being very much drawn into that, but understanding on some level that to take more of a predominant role in your life, or to again kind of explore these feelings openly and sort of outwardly, it would change a lot of things for them. But it feels to be something that, as much as there's like a trepidation about that, there's also an enthusiasm. Their higher self, maybe this is someone who's even kind of clicked into their higher self for the first time, or more deeply than they typically do, and it's almost like wanting to walk through any sort of boundaries of fear in order to explore possibilities and potential between the two of you, because something as far as their kind of life path, or again sort of like higher self energy is letting them know that regardless of what may or may not happen romantically speaking between the two of you, that to move in closer to your orbit, or to be more of a relevant part of your reality, would be a life-changing experience for them overall. Especially as far as like if you resonate as a light worker, or you work in some kind of like healing or helping profession, or you may even resonate as an empath. It feels like your crush has observed, sort of from the fly on the wall perspective, of people sort of walk away from the experience with you better than they were before energetically. Maybe you've helped people to kind of change their life in a very profound way, in sort of a practical sense, or emotionally speaking. And so there's this energy of, despite the fear that they have and whatever kind of transformation would take place, that ultimately it would be for their greater good, their highest good. And so this is somebody who's, they're kind of watching you as well, with a sense of almost not knowing what to expect on the other side of an exploration of feelings. But there is almost the sense of, even though there's that air of mystery sort of about you and about the nature of kind of the vibe that you're giving off, or even kind of something within them that, if there's attraction here, if it's like a mutual kind of crush, or even something that it feels like the nature of romantic feelings might be a little confusing for them, maybe based on how you know one another, how they've encountered you, other things that they have going on in their life, that it's almost like you wouldn't be the type of person they normally would sort of gravitate toward with love as the intention, or romance as the intention. And yet at the same point in time, there's almost the sense of a deeper kind of meaning, a deeper sort of purpose to that, for themselves. And it's something which is very compelling. They almost sort of, they want what you have, or what you are able to kind of help to unlock within them, that they feel that you've sort of unlocked within yourself, and that you help others to unlock as well. This can really, again, speak to sort of like a light and a vitality that kind of radiates from you, an abundance that radiates from you. Your crush sort of sees that fortune smiles upon you, even on kind of days when you're maybe not feeling your best. You still show up with a smile on your face. You still are a helpful person. You're still somebody who, is that kind of listening ear, is that shoulder to cry on, is they're seeing you as a giver almost, rather than someone that is very self-serving, that to experience a connection with you, a deepening of some sort of a bond or an exploration of romance. It may be the first time they've had kind of true reciprocity, emotionally speaking. And so that can kind of account for this energy of it's unknown to them. It's very much, different from sort of transactional connections as far as romance that they've experienced, or something where it was very one-sided. This may be somebody who's really accustomed to, they need to be the giver, they need to be the provider. They may attract a lot of kind of like broken or needy people, or have just kind of been taken advantage of in various ways in kind of love and partnership, or even their life in general. And yet there's a sense of, you give off a vibe of like a healing presence, a trustworthy presence, a very calm and centered presence, which is kind of coaxing them, it feels like, to sort of take a chance to kind of trust in that, to explore that more on some level. So even if this is somebody who's kind of playing aloof, or not giving any sort of obvious indicators, or any kind of confirmations that you've caught their eye, that you have their attention, you definitely do. And it goes far beyond, though, just physically finding you attractive, or being exclusively just emotionally drawn to you. There's something very personal about this energy, that if they don't make a move, if they do make a move, that this encounter with you, this experience with you, it's kind of either coming at a point that's a transitional period in their life in general, or again, whatever the choice is in this situation, it opens certain doors of possibilities, or like a new route along their own kind of personal journey, for better or worse. So there's a sense of almost feeling the need to kind of make the right choice in this decision. Do they just sort of watch? Do they just sort of hold these feelings within, or do they take a chance? Do they allow themselves to be kind of drawn in closer, or progress closer towards you? Maybe to sort of spark up a friendship if this is a situation, where maybe you don't know this person very well, or they just kind of see you or encounter you in passing, or if it's something where you already have a friendship in place, or maybe you work with this person, whatever that kind of looks like. They may be in a friend group even, that there's a sense of kind of really heavily sort of weighing and evaluating that idea of sort of transcending things, sort of shifting the balance between the two of you, and really taking a chance on kind of becoming more of a relevant part of your world and of your reality. So let's take a look and see if they plan on making a move towards you. So we have embrace stillness, use your power, and protect your boundaries. So this feels like an energy of kind of watching and waiting. Again, kind of their higher self really drawing their attention towards you, that it might be very unconventional, the nature of how you know one another, or how they have kind of come across you, or something as far as kind of like who you are compared to what they are accustomed to in love and partnerships, or who they're typically sort of attracted toward and create those romantic relationships with. There's a sense of almost needing to observe or kind of feel things out, vet the situation out a little more, maybe even prompted by their higher self to really kind of soak in and saturate themselves in more of your energy before kind of professing any sort of romantic feelings, or embarking on kind of a deepening or more of a solidification of your bond with one another. So it feels to be somebody that will kind of, it's almost sort of like lurking in the shadows with this tiger here on Use Your Power. Again, kind of a sense within them that you have arrived in their life at kind of what signals a transitional period for them, or to experience more of a direct connection with you, or a romantic connection with you. It would be life-changing for them. And so there's almost a sense of them needing to kind of build that power, build that sort of stamina, or almost kind of say goodbye to some kind of previous version of themselves, or you know, the life that they've been living, before taking that kind of leap of faith towards you. Even if it's something very, very simple as far as like establishing a friendship, something on the higher self level knows that people who come into contact with you, or who experience some sort of relationship with you, there is a change within those individuals. It kind of represents a detour along other paths, or a redirection of other paths in life and in love. And so this feels like somebody that's kind of preparing themselves for that, preparing themselves for, you know, kind of what that might look like, both in terms of what could develop between the two of you, and also personally for themselves, what that might look like as well. So let's get some messages from their higher self and see what they want you to know at this time. Okay, and they say, listen to your heart over what others say. So again, a confirmation of, you know, your crush sort of holding back at this particular point in time to observe, to kind of feel within themselves, to sort of gear up, it feels like, for whether they, you know, come out of sort of an observer stance and make a move towards you, or it's something where, you know, they choose to kind of linger in that place of, I'm not sure that I'm ready for whatever the nature of the transitional experience would be with you. It's almost a sense of choosing at this time to sort of remain tucked within themselves, and that's coming from like a higher self, almost nudge or guidance, sort of taking in the full scenery, taking inventory of other things in their life unrelated to you, unrelated to love and partnership. You know, because again, it might just be you've crossed paths with your crush at a time when there is significant change that's already kind of slotted for them. It's already sort of written into the nature of their kind of soul's blueprint for this lifetime, and in some way, kind of maybe even by virtue of sort of the light that you give off, the energy that you give off, it might even be something where your role with one another is simply, you know, to be kind of like a light in the darkness, a beacon toward healing, you know, or kind of like a support system during some sort of period of change. Or it can even be something where, you know, if this person sort of chooses to do something about these feelings, this interest, this curiosity, that in and of itself can kind of instigate some sort of new journey or path for them. And it's a sense of almost kind of readying themselves to progress along that level. They also say, I wish you were here. So this is kind of giving the indicator of they wish you could almost read between the lines of any sort of hesitation. There's kind of an awkwardness to this, to where it might almost be somebody that It's like a hot and cold energy. You may really have been questioning, is there a mutuality here, or am I just kind of sinking into some experience of limerence with this person? And it feels like it's something where you're picking up on the signals very accurately from within them, that there is sort of a curiosity to explore something more, but then there's also like a hesitation within themselves. Not just am I ready to explore love and partnership, but am I ready for whatever other major life changes the experience of you or this juncture in time signals for them. And they also say, let's talk. So there is an interest in eventually kind of transitioning beyond this sense of kind of readying themselves. They may even be sort of giving themselves a pep talk to just take a leap of faith, say something, reach out, deepen the nature of your connection with one another in some sort of capacity, sort of weighing the pros and cons about, should I gravitate toward this person, or should I just sort of let this opportunity kind of pass me by? They also say our chemistry is so strong right now. So again, a confirmation of like a mutual crush circumstance, but there's something kind of more to it than just attraction. This might be something where, again, it's kind of someone who's sort of up in their head at this particular point in time, because there's something about you, or about kind of the surge towards you, or the nature of your, like how you're connected with one another, that might be very outside of the box from what they're used to in terms of romantic partnerships, or even just you come into their life and in a manner, at a time when they weren't looking for love, or they weren't expecting to kind of have some sort of stirring within themselves, emotionally speaking. And so it's a sense of resisting that at this particular point in time. They also say, I don't know how to express what I truly feel. Yeah, so this is somebody who's kind of going back and forth. Should I or shouldn't I? Is this kind of worth my while, or is this something where almost kind of that sense of trepidation, like would I be getting in over my head to explore something with this person? Should I just kind of keep it in the friend zone, keep them at a distance, keep myself at a distance? And they also say, I really do care. So again, despite the hot and cold energy, a bit of fear coupled with excitement that you might be sensing off of this person, there is a level of respect for you, or admiration for you. They see you as somebody who is genuinely a good person, a safe person, a safe space. They're very drawn towards you in a capacity of almost kind of wounds within themselves are kind of pulled towards you, as you are a source of healing. You are a source of light. Maybe you kind of hold the key or answers to sort of remedying some problems within themselves, or there may almost be, this could be somebody that has like a tendency toward like codependency, and they may be aware of that within themselves, and so they're kind of holding back rather than making it where you would need to fix something within them. There's almost the sense of needing to check in with themselves, or just not feeling they're kind of ready yet necessarily to embark on either the experience of kind of love or romance, but even an element and a layer here of they become so used to some degree of wounding within that they might not even necessarily be ready to kind of fully let that go. And that can be that sort of higher self indicator of, big kind of changes that, even if it's something where, chemistry and potential, it turned out you're better off as friends, it's almost a sense of they would be transformed in some sort of way. Some sort of wound within them would be almost cauterized by a more direct experience with you. And so it's a sense of they want that, but they don't know if they're ready for that. So let's get some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got O, R, P, F, L, R, Y, T, E, D, I, Z, K, D, Q, and T. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop. and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. And I've launched a second channel here on YouTube, which is called Lady of the Dawn, where I do channeled message readings related to topics other than love and romance. So if that sounds like something you're interested in checking out, there's a link to that channel in the description box of the video also. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.